I suppose while we wait for Shehzad to join us, I'll view as a quick introduction of who we have here with us tonight. So my name is Declan, and I'll be hosting the session tonight with our Coinllectibles CEO, Mr. Toby O'Connor, and our Marvel Digital CEO and Coinllectibles Executive Advisor, Mr. Julian So. Gents, I suppose we can hit the ping pong ball a little bit before we get started here. There's been many exciting developments. I don't want to let anything off the hook just before everyone joins us. But Toby, I think noticeably and most exciting is that element of Coinllectibles ramping things up, so to speak, and really starting to shake the tree a little bit in terms of our different business operations and efforts.
Yeah, no. It's been a fantastic period for us, and everybody's working extremely hard. And I really think as we look at that scaling up, it's really been around putting in place the right foundations around the business of what we want to do, which is really focus on that bridging the physical and the virtual mediums, and then execute into that with showing some outcomes, and at the same time building on the foundations that we've got to develop into other areas of the business that both diversify from where we started with our fusion NFTs into other types of NFTs and other types of assets that we can work with. Then continue to build into partnerships, partly organically driven, partly acquisition driven, and then think about where we're going to be next year in a couple of years in terms of this very exciting developing metaverse space, which we want to play a role in. So it's really about execution based on the foundations of what we've put in place, starting to show some progress there, building into that with the organic and the acquisition growth, and then thinking about the blue sky opportunities that we've got around us, around the developing metaverse, some of which we're developing, some of which on our own, some of which we're working with partners on.
Couldn't agree more. And perhaps Julian, I know you're overseeing a number of exciting companies and developments in the meta NFT space mostly, but I know that Coinllectibles and the art industry, if you will, is something that's close to your heart and something that you enjoy working. I suppose in your mind you see a lot of exciting options for Coinllectibles and the direction that we're going. But I suppose, if I may ask you, what is the most exciting thing that you could comment on that we're working on at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think that's one thing that I really want to emphasize with respect to the entire group of technology companies. Without a doubt, there are many companies out there in the world today that are doing in the business of NFTs. Okay, everyone is claiming to be NFT related or metaverse related, and we as a group, and in particular Coinllectibles under the stewardship of Toby, we have resisted the temptation to dive into all of the hype and to try to pick the low-lying fruits. Right, that's not what we are about. As a group, as a company, we are all about long-term. We're all about trying to do what's right and trying to use technology to change, to improve our lives and to enhance the businesses or the industries that we're working in. And that's what we've done, right? The way we look at NFTs is that it's not an end product. It's really just a tool where we can use to actually improve the way, for example, the arts and collectibles industries actually function today. And I find that very exciting, right? Because at some point, and especially today, I think there's a particularly bad correction in the crypto prices. And people are starting to worry about, the value of the NFTs that they hold, the value of the crypto that they hold. And when they look back at a company like ours and they realize that we're all about substance, we're all about doing things right, we're all about building the foundation so that this business can go on long term, they're going to realize that put their money on the right horse, right? And that's who we are. And I think that's what I find the most exciting. It's the same thing during the dot-com bubble. When the tide recedes, the ones left standing are the ones with real businesses and who are able to very precisely articulate what exactly is their business model and what exactly they're selling. And that's what Coinllectibles is all about. So I think that hopefully is the answer to the question that you're looking for, Declan. But thank you.
Absolutely, Julian. I think at least since I've met you, authenticity and transparency has been something that it's a common phrase around the work that we're doing and will proceed to do. And I mean, Toby, if you can just comment on the low-lying fruit, that's a lot of. I suppose it's all about hype. A lot of the NFT bubble as it emerged initially, I suppose, in the beginning of last year. But as one of our colleagues loves to say, when the tide goes back out, there's going to be a lot of people left with no pants on. So I think that's very true, at least when it comes to all of these so-called hype-based NFT collections, so to speak. But Toby, perhaps you can elaborate on why the technology that we're utilizing is a little bit different and why this is not a phase, but definitely, like Julian said, is the right horse to bet on with the angle and the way we're looking to go about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the market that we're in is evolving very, very rapidly. And when I first became involved with the company and under Julian's guidance and the preliminary work that had been done around how we thought about the business, the NFT market was interesting. People were aware of what it is, but the volumes were extremely low. And as we worked through the documentation and the different types of technologies that we brought together across different parts of the group into what we're doing, the different partners that we were working with in terms of pulling our documentation together. It was really about that word that Julian just used there, which is substance. So making sure that we have clearly outlining what is actually on the NFT. And I think when you look at our NFTs, not to say others aren't or are, but what really differentiates us is a focus on being very clear and transparent on what's on the NFT, the certificate of ownership, the title, the information on the piece, how it's connected to the piece, and using our technologies to be able to do that very efficiently and in a way that we can work with other partners to distribute and enjoy our NFTs. So I think that is a fundamental point. As we went through last year, obviously the market skyrocketed in terms of the volumes of NFTs. Looking at certain numbers last week, it was as high as it was over 40 billion in terms of market cap around NFTs. I mean, the numbers are absolutely enormous, and I think within that you've got a reasonably wide range of quality, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But around the NFTs that we've put out, it's been put together with a high degree of focus in terms of the transparency, the substance, with a view to the long term, and those NFTs having real value against the underlying assets they represent, and vice versa.
And vice versa. Well, Toby, I think that your statement is emulates the amount of amazing artists that we've partnered with. And absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's been really a very enjoyable part of my role, actually, over the last few months, is engaging with very high quality creative people, artists, different types of partners who look at this opportunity, and it really boils down to, from their perspective, particularly perhaps enhanced by the whole COVID experience that we're in and have been in for the last couple of years, is, how do I engage with my great works in a better way with my customer bases and fan bases, and how do I engage with new communities around that art so more people can enjoy it, buy it, or whatever. And I've really enjoyed working with quite established artists who've taken that perspective around, where is my art going to be viewed in the next few years? Where is that creative side of the marketplace going to be? And those people with their creative instincts really are looking at the digital side in a very interesting way. And I just think it's fantastic because we can bridge both the physical aspects of what we're doing. We can go into their shops, into their galleries, talk to them, and then project that into the different geographies and the different digital mediums that we're operating in. But a big part of that, Declan, is access efficiently into new communities of people, new geographies, new types of buyers, and to see their art potentially used in a different way, perhaps create more liquidity around it. But that's been a very fun part of what we've done. And we've really tried to do that in a way where we have global representation of different artists. So we're really looking to work with creative people across the world and bring that global footprint to Coinllectibles, which at the end of the day has ambition to be a global platform, and I think is rapidly getting there.
Agreed. Well, we have one of those artists joining us this evening for us at least. Perhaps an artist that is not as traditional or conventional as some of the others that we represent, but certainly someone who's doing some extremely exciting work. He is based out of Dubai, and let me dial him in now and get him on board. There we go. Shehzad, good evening. How are you doing?
All good.
Hi, Shehzad. Very happy to see you again.
Yeah, and good to see you too, Toby and Declan.
Good,
Finally.
Thanks, Shehzad. Nice to see you, and thank you for joining us. I thought I'll keep our first interaction an organic one, so people can really see that we don't know each other, and excited to get to know you, Shehzad. Thanks for joining again. And we were just touching on some of the reasons and exciting. Sorry, excuse me, I got a little bit distracted there. We were just touching on the exciting developments happening within Coinllectibles and within the industry itself. And Shehzad, you definitely don't have a traditional background, so to speak, when it comes to art. Not that there is a specific one to follow, that's for sure. But Shehzad, I suppose you could just give us a quick introduction, if you don't mind, around
yeah, sure.
Not only who you are and your art, but how you ended up doing what you do now.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Floor's yours.
Sure. So I was in the big bad world of advertising, and I got into advertising when I was only 15, and I was just a kid. And I'm happy to say that I've had a wonderful run in advertising. I have been working in Dubai for the last 27 years, and I led the creative department at some of the most renowned global agencies like TBWA and DDB and BBDO, YNR, and it was a wonderful journey. Along the way, I picked up 60 international awards. Cannes, Clio, One Show, Epica, New York festivals, London International. I could go on, and I got a chance to build some really iconic brands. And throughout my career, I've always been known for ideas. I mean, I'm one of the biggest and most vocal advocates of ideas. And I used to encourage my team to infuse ideas into everything they do, whether it's a tiny little recruitment ad or it's a massive campaign. It needs to have an idea. So I love being creative. I love coming up with ideas. And, creative people are curious. They're like children. So they want new toys. They want new skills. So along the way, I just decided that I need to expand my horizons. I need to explore something new. And that's how 3 years ago I got into 3D art, 3D digital art. And I don't think anything has changed. I mean, the principles of what I do and what I used to do are pretty much the same. It's storytelling. It's about coming up with interesting ideas, interesting characters, powerful ideas and just presenting them in 3D and through a digital avatar. And so that hasn't changed. So I know that I'm not a traditional artist, as in I don't pick up a brush and paint, but I love creating. I love telling stories, and this was very natural. What I've been doing, and I've got incredible response from people. So when the whole NFT thing started, even in advertising, we were print, we were TV, and then digital came along, and then social media and apps and this and that. So I knew that things are going to change and new things are going to come up. But NFT was something really new, and whatever I've understood or researched, I know I've barely scratched the surface. I'm not an NFT expert, but I'm creative. So I was looking for people who were masters of this, who were knew the science of it, the commerce of it, the everything of it. And of course, then I came across Coinllectibles and you guys, and I thought, okay, fantastic. If this is a beautiful journey that I'm going to go on, I need the right people, to share my train booth and have fun with me and teach me something and grow and move along together. So that's how this whole thing started, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this new evolution or rebirth or reinvention. It's been fantastic. I just love it.
Thank you, Shehzad. Thanks for those great words. And I agree with you when it comes to experts. There are very few in this industry at this point. We do happen to have a few amongst us. I certainly don't profess to be one. But, speaking to Julian day after day, I definitely have gathered a lot of understanding with regards to the challenges faced and the risks involved with the industry that we're dealing with. And that's certainly something that we're looking to achieve through transparency and authenticity. Julian, would you mind elaborating a little bit on the legal aspects and considerations that we look at and endeavor to support our artists with?
Sure, happy to do that. So I think, look, first of all, if you look at all of the NFTs that are available out there today, you're going to find that they are being treated as an end product. And in reality, if they were treated as end product, there is actually very little value in it, right? The reason is this. An NFT is kind of like a piece of paper with a never repeating serial number, right? So everyone rave about how it's being unique. Of course it's unique because the serial number is unique. But as a piece of paper, it doesn't create any value, right? The value of a piece of paper will only come with what you actually write on it. Okay. Now, most people assume that when they actually place a link to a JPEG image in the NFT, that they're actually drawing the image onto the NFT, and that's actually not true, right? Because in fact, a lot of the links within the NFTs are actually links to centralized servers. Some are linked to IPFS. The better ones are linked onto the blockchain, right? And it is important that it must be on the blockchain because that's where it's immutable, right? If your link is actually on a centralized server, and if that centralized server actually shuts down, your NFT will have a link that goes nowhere. And it's going to be very difficult for you to explain, what exactly do you own in the NFT. Now, even if the image is actually on the blockchain, you have to bear in mind that from a legal perspective, the fact that you have a link written on a piece of paper to an image does not mean that you own anything in the image. Okay, so from a legal perspective, again, that's very, very problematic. And I think that's the reason why we see a lot of problems today, especially legal issues between different parties, especially between the owners of the copyright and the owners of the NFTs. Now, what we have done in Coinllectibles is something I find really amazing because our link in the NFT actually links, first of all, to the blockchain, but it doesn't simply link only to a JPEG image. It actually includes a whole bunch of legally binding documents that actually creates the ownership rights to the art piece, right? And the art could be a tangible asset, which is a physical art piece, or it could be an intangible asset, which is like a digital image. But as far as we're concerned, there must be proper documentation minted or embedded into the NFT, uploaded onto the blockchain before you can categorically say that when you own the NFT, you also own certain rights or you own certain ownership title to that image. And I think that's what we've done differently from a lot of NFTs out there at the moment. And I think the fact that Shehzad is very interested to work with us, and I'm delighted and we are very honored to have him as one of our artists, is precisely because that's what we've done. And if you look at our recent partnership with Spink, for example, this is an auction house that was established in the 1600s. They are actually very, very conservative, and it's the same thing. When we could articulate exactly what we were trying to do with the NFTs and what the potential buyer of the NFT is actually getting, immediately they were actually happy to work with us. And I think that's a testament to the fact that we've done the right thing by walking on the right path to use NFTs as a tool and not as an end product for the purpose of speculation and hype. I hope that answered your question, Declan, but I hope it's not too heavy as well from the audience perspective. But thank you.
Thanks, Julian. Certainly, and yeah, definitely when it comes to being an industry professional, I'm confident in your ability. Toby, Julian touched on the Spink partnership there, and that's something that you coordinated beautifully. I mean, the results speak for themselves, but what about the between the lines, if you will, like Julian mentioned, 1600s auction house, traditional as they can get from the UK. I mean, to break down those barriers, and I'm not sure how you did it, but yeah, I think we had beautiful results there. What do you reckon was the reason for that? If you could put it down to it.
No, it was a wonderful project, and we were most honored to be invited to play a role in that project, and it was so exciting at many different levels. It was for people who don't know about it. It was for a very rare Henry III gold coin that was discovered in the UK, and there's a lot of international media attention. And our friends at Spink, we were delighted to be invited to do an NFT on a video where the proceeds went to charity. And it was a great project, but it's also an important project for us because it shows our ability to work with very high quality, sophisticated partners in the traditional space, and where they can see our opportunity in the digital space, and where we can bring those together in a very, very positive way. And we worked in collaboration with them and had a very, very nice result. And to your earlier point to Julian, we took that project on the basis that it was going to be done correctly, that the video, which is roughly around 8 seconds, very, very interesting. We did what we call a hybrid NFT on that video, where the IP and the commercial rights for each picture in that video and the entirety of the video go to the owner. So lots of people can enjoy that video, but one person owns the rights to it. And it's that kind of approach with those kinds of very high quality partners, where we can bring our NFT and really interesting content to really large communities of people at an international level. And you expect to see more of that from us. So those kinds of collaborations and partnerships with high quality firms like Spink, Spinks, and really across the artists, around galleries, around the whole collectible space. It's absolutely enormous, and it's about working with very good partners, bringing increasingly exciting content, ideas, and merging that with our technology and our NFTs, and it's just very exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Toby, I was just thinking, wouldn't you love to work with another auction house in the 1600s in Japan? Another auction house that was established in the 1600s in the Middle East, in Dubai, for example. I think that would be really exciting, and would really make us put us on the global map. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely global. I actually was able to go to the auction, and at the same time, I was talking to Julian in Hong Kong, guys in Singapore. We had so much interest across the different time zones, which we were able to build over 3 or 4 days and then bring that to an outcome. And it was, that's where it's going. We can't all be moving around the same way we used to. We're just much more efficient in the way that we're operating. And our model, we've got a MetaMall site for people who haven't seen that. I encourage you to do that, coinlectibles.art, where you can see our pieces and commercial transactions can occur. And it's just a very efficient way to engage. And then when you layer that on with partners who've been doing things in a certain way for many years and are evolving themselves, and see us as the right partner at the right time. And for Spink, it was their first NFT, and we think it was the first numismatic coin NFT done by an auction house. We're looking for those opportunities, and we're looking to work with creativity across the globe.
Yeah, and I think, like Shehzad said earlier, it all starts with an idea. Everyone had an idea once upon a time, and some of them work better than others. Shehzad certainly is no shortage of success. And Shehzad, I was thinking it's time to touch on some of your art, and perhaps you could walk us through some of it. Unfortunately, it's not working so well with the system, but I have got another way to do it, and I'll pull it up now. Very eager to hear, just to hear a little bit more about it from the horse's mouth, if you will. And please let me know if it is possible. There we go.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I just didn't want to create a 3D NFT or 3D visual for the heck of it. Just someone standing and there's nothing happening. I wanted to create this conflict, this war, dystopian world, and the robots have taken over, and there's a cyberpunk warrior trying to fight them. So I wanted to create and tell stories. So this was just an experiment. I did one, and then I thought I can turn it into a complete series of NFTs and visuals that would tell different stories. So I like putting in a story, an idea, a concept, a conflict, something in it. So this was all about that.
Let me hit the next one there for you.
Yeah. So I started creating these hyper-realistic 3D characters, and interestingly enough, it came during the lockdown. Having been an advertising man and shooting with the best photographers in the world, with the best models, and spending a fortune, I realized, I spoke to my friends, and they told me, no client is spending, even a dirham. Shoots are cancelled, and I don't know, retainers have been slashed. So clients don't have the budget for the kind of lavish shoots that we did back in the day. So I thought to myself, what if I started creating these 3D characters, these real people, and turned and went to the clients and said, you know what? You want to shoot a campaign in Paris? You want to shoot a campaign in Venice with the most beautiful woman on the planet? There you go. And you can own these models, and you can literally sign them up for life. So, I mean, this is how I started doing these characters. And then one thing led to another, and then I started putting the characters, in a certain scene, and then I started thinking of stories that could go with them. So this is one of the things, in everything that I do. Creating hyper-realistic 3D characters is something I truly love. And I have
Sorry to cut you off. I can barely believe that's a 3D character. Barely believe it.
Yes. Yeah. And I have about hundreds of them. I keep creating one every week, and then go back to it and change. And it feels so good. I'm not going to say that you're trying to play God or anything, but it feels good to literally bring your vision to life. Okay, I think if her lips looked like this, oh no. If her eyes were green, or if she had this kind of a hair. So the joy and the freedom that I get out of this, it's incredible. It's absolutely amazing.
Happy to hear, and I think that many people are going to get a lot of joy from it when we start including this type of stuff inside bigger projects. And I know exactly what I'm talking about, Julian, when I say that.
Yeah.
Let me flip on to the next.
I think I think the artwork is absolutely amazing, right? I think for anyone to spend this much time and this much effort to create something like this is absolutely amazing. I mean, when I look at this and I look at the kind of artworks that they're being sold as NFTs out there, there's just so little comparison. And I have to give a lot of credit to Shehzad for really coming up with this kind of artworks. It's mind blowing, to be honest. But thank you for sharing that, Shehzad. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And going back to what you said a little earlier about not being a traditional artist, being an advertising man, being a creative person who writes scripts, who visualizes things, who shoots films, it really helps me now, because now I look at details. I look at the back. I look at the background. If I'm telling the story, what kind of a place this should be? Okay, the building should be bombed. So I need those details. How should the guy be standing? So it's not just CGI 3D art. It's actually visual storytelling. It's actually setting it up. It's actually art directing it, and all of that comes from my advertising background. It just helps me layer the work more. Have these little details in the work. Okay, moving on.
Just want to ask you, right, for this particular image that you've got right now, sorry, the previous one with these soldiers. How much time would it have taken you to actually complete something like that? I mean, it's just, the detail is just mind-boggling.
Sometimes it takes like a week or 10 days, and then I just keep revisiting it and keep adding things to it. But yeah, between like a week to 2 weeks. That's it.
And on what resolution is this on? Can it be printed on a like a life-size poster, or that would be too?
No. You can go up to. You can print the size of the wall, probably even a building. I mean, that's not a problem. We can it'll take longer to render it, but sky is the limit. I mean, you can do anything with it.
Fantastic! Really amazing work.
Thank you.
Let me flip on to the next one there. Perhaps, Shehzad, you could talk us through your creation process of this particular one.
Okay, so I just want to, everyone has been talking about Mars, and UAE has done, some amazing stuff, regarding Mars. So I just wanted to show a very human side to people who go there. It can't be all tech and science, and I wanted to show people are people, humans are humans. Even if they go to Mars and colonize it, they're going to do human things. They're going to do the same things. So I wanted her to just get up in the morning and strike a yoga pose and just breathe in and experience what's going on around her and just be what she is, a human. So this is what I wanted to portray through this. And even in the next one, in the next visual, you see a man walking a dog. That's the most human thing to do. But only the dog is different. So take the realities of life and just give it a futuristic spin to go with the idea.
Amazing. Thanks for taking us through that.
You're most welcome.
Let me try and jump back in here. There we go.
I love Shehzad's passion. I've got to say, it's probably the most fun part of my job. We started out with ceramics. We've got a wonderful founder who's passionate about art, and we started off this journey with some really high quality drops of NFTs around ceramics, and we've enjoyed some good success around that, and we'll continue to do that. But it's been fun to be able to move into other genres of art with different artists who look at things so differently. And what you quickly realize is, and we did a great around Chinese New Year, we did a wonderful education piece on ceramics and the rest of it. But as you quickly move through the large collectibles market, let's just talk about art, right? There's so many different types of art. You can never be an expert in everything, and it's just so wonderful actually to spend time with the artists themselves and how they think about it and how they think about projecting the art. They really enjoy that. We've got a wonderful piece on our metaverse called Doctor in the House by an English artist called Patrick Hughes, and it's reverse perspective. I didn't know much about reverse perspective, and I now know a lot about it. So, but as you move around the room, the art moves. It's absolutely fascinating. We've got that piece now physically in Hong Kong, and we're just starting to see that as we scale and as we build and as we work with the artists. But I really enjoyed that explanation, Shehzad, of those pieces. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we certainly are fortunate to be working with Shehzad, and I believe he's known as the mayor of Dubai. So I am looking forward to visiting him and having a great time there in the city.
Oh, absolutely. You would love it. You guys would love it. You must come to Dubai.
If you insist, Shehzad, if you insist.
Yeah. we just witnessed the opening of the Museum of the Future, which is touted to be the world's most beautiful building. It's absolutely brilliant, and they just opened doors yesterday, and it's a marvel. It's just a couple of blocks away from where I live, so I can easily walk and check it out. But it's wonderful, and the expo and the speed with which Dubai is growing, it's magical. You must visit us.
We look forward to it. That's for sure. That's for sure. Toby, we're definitely fortunate to be working with some amazing artists like Shehzad, to mention one of the few. You mentioned Patrick Hughes too. Adlin is amazing. I mean, there's a bunch of them, but certainly you've taken the company on a new direction lately with regards to. Well, I suppose there's a few elements, but the most notable one would be with regards to the galleries. Wow, that was difficult for me to say. So, would you mind elaborating a little bit on our new direction, or not our new direction? I beg your pardon. On our evolution and growth, where we've now begun to partner with galleries to showcase our fusion NFTs.
Yeah, it was all part of our business plan to scale. Is as we bring in resource, and we've been adding some great people, as we're comfortable that we're evolving our technology the right way and it's performing the way that we want, as we feel we're doing a good job with our existing partners, we're looking to expand, and as I mentioned earlier, this is really a global platform that we've set up, and one of the ways that we will scale, alongside working with fantastic artists, alongside working with fantastic pieces, alongside working with traditional partners, is to deepen our access into content and distribution partners and ways that we can show art. And a theme around that is our work with galleries. We set up a gallery very early on in Hong Kong. A lot of our pieces are visible there, which has been great. A lot of our buyers have chosen to continue to show their pieces in that gallery. We give people the option to receive the art or for us to hold it or whatever the owner would like. And recently we announced an 80% acquisition of another gallery in Hong Kong, which we're extremely excited about. And that's really a precursor to working with partner galleries in Asia, Europe, Middle East, everywhere. So we're looking to scale across that, where we partner with the galleries in different models around how we bring our fusion NFTs to bear, alongside some of the great stuff that they've got in there. And I think what that does for us, it does a lot of things for us. It obviously gives us the ability to scale the volume of NFTs that we're doing. It helps us accelerate what we're doing with our communities of people that we're working with. And it helps us work with real experts at the galleries around specific types of art, and gives us a lot more depth in that area as well. So it's extremely exciting, and it's reasonably early on, but I think you can safely say this is very much an area that we have a lot of interest in, and we'll be developing quite aggressively over the rest of this year.
Thanks, Toby. Yeah, it's very exciting, really exciting, and let's see how it progresses. I believe it's progressing quickly. Shehzad, we're getting a bunch of comments, from LinkedIn. People saying very nice work, very beautiful and thought-provoking. Wow. Perhaps you could drop your website and your Instagram or something in the comments there, so people can reach out and see some of the work that you're doing. Might be helpful. To continue that conversation, Julian, we're partnering with galleries, but we're also doing a little bit more than that, aren't we? Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Last year, we set out to show the world that Coinllectibles is about art from all over the world, right? That we're not just, as Toby mentioned, even though we started out with Chinese ceramics, we're not just about Chinese ceramics. And we were out there working with many, many artists last year to demonstrate that. And as Toby mentioned, and also last year on the report card, I think we did very well because we had our footprint all over the world, working with artists all over the world. Now this year, as Toby has mentioned, I think because we need to scale up, we now want to work or have our footprint all over the world in terms of galleries, right? So we want to be working with hopefully tens and hundreds of galleries littered across the globe, where all of their art pieces and artworks could be powered by Coinllectibles, right? Having said that, this doesn't actually mean that we are going to pay any less attention to our artists. We love all of our artists, but I think this year, as you correctly mentioned, we're going to do one step more than what we did last year, which was to bring in individual pieces. But whereas this year we're talking about working with artists to build a campaign over a collection for the artists. And I think, Shehzad is a very good example. You've seen he has many artworks that is going to wow the world. And it would be silly for us to only present one of his pieces, right? Rather, I think we think the right way should be to do a collection and to make sure that we build an entire campaign towards the final release of that collection. And I think that's something that we hope all of our audiences and our community will be looking forward to. And I hope that was what you were referring to, Declan. If there's something else, please let me know.
There's a follow-up, I suppose, and there's another question that we received here too. Julian, I suppose what I was alluding to was the acquisition, rather.
Right. So I think, as Toby mentioned, we already did our first acquisition this year. This is just to demonstrate, how serious we are about working with galleries. When we say work with galleries, obviously we don't mean we necessarily have to acquire all of them. Okay, we're happy to do partnerships where we only provide, the NFT capability for these galleries to differentiate themselves from all of the rest of the galleries that are currently available out there. But to the extent that we find a gallery owner that has the same vision, that has the same intentions as we do, we will find ourselves in a position where we are very interested to acquire these galleries as well. So I think that's where we stand. And, kudos to Toby again, hard work by him and his team to make the acquisition actually happen. And we hope to see many more coming in the future.
Thanks, Julian. Thank you very much. So if you guys are looking to get in touch with Shehzad and his work, we have posted it in the comments, and I would encourage you to go and check it out there. Also on our website, you can expect some exciting updates in the days to come. I see Toby nodding. There was something exciting, one more that I'm missing here, and it's something that I think Shehzad can shed a lot of light on with his experience in the advertising industry, and that's the element that digital marketing is having on our industry, and more specifically on NFTs in particular. All of us work closely with this on a day-to-day basis. And Shehzad, I was wondering if we could get your advertising, marketing, PR hat back on for a moment and just shed a little bit of light on what you've noticed, at least in the industry, and perhaps a cautionary note to people that are looking at this from perhaps not an expert eye view, if you will.
Well, I think because NFTs are digital, it's all the more reason to really use the digital medium to promote yourself. And obviously, traditional approaches are not going to work. I've noticed that for NFTs, people are using Discord and Twitter. I mean, LinkedIn might not be right for them. Twitter and Discord is the way forward. So it is very important. If you're talking of digital art, and if you're talking of the digital space and NFT and blockchain and the metaverse is all housed digitally. Yes, as an artist yourself, or as any gallery, or as anyone who is in the NFT space, you really have to utilize digital, and you need to create a very defined identity, because right now the entire world is screaming NFTs. So instead of getting lost in this ocean of sameness, or everyone is screaming NFT. How do you stand out? You will only stand out by very clearly defining, who you are, what exactly you do. If you're an artist, what defines you? What drives you? What's your rallying cry? What's your DNA? You project that, and people are going to buy. Similarly, NFT companies and galleries will have to be very distinct about their offering. And this is what attracted me to Coinllectibles, because when everyone was going NFT, you guys came in with fusion NFT and hybrid NFT, and you came with something which was definitive, which was absolutely properly carved out and visible and easy to understand. So I think rather than talk about the medium and how to utilize it, I think the purpose behind it is more important, and that is to clearly define who you are.
Well said. Julian, what about the cautionary note with regards to? I suppose we can zone in on NFT collections, if you will, and the way that hype is and marketing works these days. You get much like an avalanche or an avalanche, if you will. And a lot of these projects get a lot of interest and a lot of pre-sale and a lot of this and a lot of that, and it all turns out to be a big scam. I mean, it's a concern and something that's happening a lot at the moment, not just in NFTs, but across the board. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I think we've had so many conversations with funds and with people in the industry. And I think, there is no doubt that everyone agrees that the people who are actually crypto natives today forms only about 5 to 10% of the entire population, right? There's something like 90 to 95% of the population that hasn't actually come into crypto. Well, not because they're not interested, but precisely because of what you just said, which is the fear and the concern that there are a lot of scams going around, and that there seems to be a lot of hype that may or may not go away, and that would leave them carrying the baby, so to speak, when the music ends, right? So what we've done is that we are particularly focused on the 90 to 95% of the non-crypto natives, right? The crypto natives are great. We think they're important, and that's what's driving all of the hype. But as I mentioned before, we're not tempted to jump and dive into the hype right now. We're more interested to build a long-term business. And that's why if you look at our MetaMore, if you look at how we are actually publicly listed in the US, you know that we want to run this business for the long term, right? And in order for us to do that, we need to be able to articulate what exactly we're selling and what exactly is our business model, because that's something we have to explain to the SEC in the US on a day-to-day basis. I mean, just 2 days ago, I was trying to answer, 12 questions from the SEC. But it just demonstrates, how serious we are about this business and how serious we are about reaching the other 90 to 95%. So the point I wanted to make was that if you are not a crypto native and you're not familiar with opening a wallet, you're not familiar with buying a crypto, don't worry, right? Because the Coinllectibles MetaMore actually allows non-crypto natives to actually come into this space and use our facilities at ease, in the way that they have been using Facebook, or in the way they've been using LinkedIn. So they don't need an additional level of technical skills before they can actually get involved in NFTs. And I would really encourage anybody that's interested, for example, in the kind of artwork that Shehzad is doing, and who are not necessarily interested in the hype, and they want to collect something of real value, to come to our Meta Mall and to engage our artists there, and to buy the kind of fusion NFTs and hybrid NFTs we're offering there. Because the one thing that I can guarantee is that you are not buying something that is of no value, because all of the documentation within the NFTs that we offer actually create real value in the real world. And I think that's the main point I wanted to bring up with respect to the question that you've just raised, Declan. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you very much. That was hit the nail right on the head, I think. And Shehzad, it's great to have you on our first dialogue session today. I'm sure we're going to have you back again.
I would love to.
Yeah. Tell us, I mean, your blue sky vision for 2022 as an artist. What is that looking like? And we can tell you as a company what that's looking like from our side too.
No, it looks very promising. I'm absolutely excited because there are some really interesting projects in the pipeline, and there's something that I will be doing with Coinllectibles, and I will not reveal much, but just say that it's extremely conceptual. It's huge. There's a very, very, very powerful idea behind it. It's going to bring a smile to people's faces, and it will be one of the biggest things I've done, and I'm very excited and happy to do it with Coinllectibles, and keep watching the space. Go to Coinllectibles, and you'll soon find out what it is and how massive it's going to be.
I was dangling the carrot to try and get a little bit more out of you, but same as they always say, right? That's why I'm smiling. I know what's going to happen, and it's incredible.
But that's part of it, Declan, right? Part of it is we spent a bit of time on this call talking about the legal rights and the ownership and how important that is, and the substance is absolutely critical, right? But it's fun. What we want to do is create a fun experience, right? We want to create our version of Metaverse or Meta Mall and how we fit into that. And we've got so many different ideas and creative people within our ecosystem that are coming up with great ideas. It's just really fun. And then, how that NFT can be enjoyed by people in their wallets in different parts of the world. And that's a really important part, the immersive experience and how that translates from the physical to the immersive digital side of it. And from Coinllectibles side, you can expect us to be showing a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, a lot of responsible innovation around that space. We're doing that organically. We're doing that through our acquisitions. We made a great acquisition to accelerate what we're doing with an already strong tech team around the NFT and the messaging side, and how we're going to engage with communities of people around the NFTs. We've got some interesting things there, which will come down the pike. We've made an announcement recently around closing the acquisition around Phoenix Waters, the production house. Very talented producer there, Bizan Tong, coming up with some amazing stuff. Forensic psychologist coming up. We've got the first NFT drama series coming up, Crypto Keepers. There's something in the superhero space, EVOS coming up. It's really fun. So as you look at our business model, right, it's about the things we've talked about, the execution around the ceramics, moving into diversification around the artists, working with partners, thinking about how we operate with galleries around scale globally, and then layering in these different capabilities on top of what we've already got, just to be more efficient, more effective, and more enjoyable to work with all our partners. So it's going to be a very, very good, interesting 2022. I'm very excited about it.
Absolutely, Toby. I think we're very fortunate and blessed with the partners we have, the colleagues. I mean, it's been an incredible journey so far. And it's Shehzad. Once again, just thank you very much for joining us. And if you have any final thoughts, let us know.
No, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, it's time to get back to work and to start creating stuff and to surprise the world.
Absolutely.
I'm done talking.
Keep inspiring, Shehzad. Please do, and looking forward to the next couple of weeks as we scale up and gear up. Toby, any final thoughts from you?
No, I just wanted to thank everybody for their time, in particular Shehzad for joining us. I'm certainly looking forward to visiting Dubai. I mean, that's an amazing environment to have amazing art in. So
absolutely.
That part of the world very much on our radar screen as well. So and of course we start with partners like Shehzad, right? Great artists in these great places, and I just thank everybody for their time, their interest in Coinllectibles. You can see what we've accomplished to date, and hopefully this gives a little bit of a perspective, in at least around one part of the business of what we're looking to do in the coming weeks and months.
Exciting times.
Very. Group CEO, Mr. Julian So, any final thoughts before we I know you don't go to bed at 11, but I do.
It's good that you brought that point up. I mean, look, apart from reiterating what Toby just said, really thank you, Shehzad, for joining us today. And thank you, the audience, for paying attention to what we're doing. This is a community that we care a lot for, and we hope we can grow this community so that, everyone can be participating in all of the wonderful projects that we're going to roll out, and projects of substance, right? And also, I would just want to say, not forgetting, as Declan, as you mentioned, all of the colleagues that made this possible. It's 11 p.m. in the evening in Singapore and in Hong Kong. These people are awake trying to make this happen. Look, I'd like to thank all of them for the efforts. Hopefully, they will continue to be as committed and as disciplined as they are now as we progress into 2022. But it's a demonstration of how great the team that we have with us today is. And look, I'm very proud of them. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks, Declan.
Thank you, Julian. Well, gents, thank you very much for a great conversation, and looking forward to the next one. Till then, have a good evening, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys.